We are discussing chapter 13, right? So Lord Ramchandra pastimes already completed, and now chapter 13 is going on. Text 12 onwards we will read today, 9.13.12. So 12 to 27. This section is about the birth of Maharaj Janak and his descendants. Okay. अराजक भयं निर्णाम मन्यमाना महर्षया देहं ममंथु स्म निमेः कुमारः समजायत. Arajak bhayam, due to fear of the danger of an unregulated government. Nirnam, for the people in general. Manyamana, considering this situation. Maharishya, the great sages. Deham, the body. Manamanthu, churn. Isma, in the past. Nime, of Maharaj Nimi. Kumaraha, one son. Samajayata, was thus born. Thereafter, to save the people from the danger of an unregulated government, the sages churned Maharaj Nimi's material body, from which as a result a son was born. Okay, so yesterday's story you should remember that Maharaj Nimi, he was cursed and then he was dead, and then our sages and other rishis, they prayed to demigods to bring back to life Maharaj Nimi, but Maharaj Nimi said, I don't want to come back to life. So this is another important point, that people are, everybody want to come back to life. First of all, people don't want to die only. Okay. So nobody want to die, and then when they are dead, and if the chance is given to them that to come back to the life, then it's very good. But here Maharaj Nimi is given opportunity to come back to life, but he is not coming. He is not coming. He is saying, I don't want to come into this material body again, because I will be again trapped in this birth life. I don't want death, birth. What is this? So I want a spiritual body. So he said, he denied. He said, I don't want to come back. Even the facilities there to come back again and become king and enjoy the sense gratification, everything nicely. But he said no, because he was a devotee. He understands that again getting into this material body is a big problem. So just see, he got this opportunity, but he still said no. Okay. So he actually got cursed, and as a result of curse, he died. So he took that curse, the big problem. This is the biggest problem of his life. What? Getting cursed and getting died. He died. But he made that big problem of his life as an opportunity. Okay, so he said, I don't want to come. He got free from this material body now. Now you see, this is the intelligence of a devotee. Right? That devotee, he is, there are problems in everybody's life, first of all. Okay, there will be many problems in people's life, but who is devotee? Devotee is the one who makes even he can convert the biggest problem of life into an opportunity to serve Krishna. Okay, that is the devotee. So here you see, like we have Maharaj Parikshit. Okay, so Maharaj Parikshit got a biggest problem in his life. So what can be the biggest problem in his life? Death. So Maharaj Parikshit got cursed that in 7 days you are going to die. What can be the most trouble than this? Simply nothing he did as such a big, so that he should be given a death punishment. Okay, a small mistake he did, that also, why we don't know, because Prabhupada wrote that it is arrangement of Krishna. Anyway, that is different part, but just for a small mistake he got death punishment. Such a big nice king, no problem. Okay, very pure, super devotee actually. Krishna appeared for him to protect in the womb of Uttara. So that great personality, such a great king of whole earth, got a curse that in 7 days you are going to die. So what can be the biggest trouble or problem in life than this? But being a devotee, he has the intelligence, and he converted that danger, that threat or that problem into an opportunity to serve Krishna. So he left immediately everything and he went at the river of Ganga, at the bank of river Ganga, and he started hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Shukdev Goswami, and he perfected his life and went back home, back to Godhead. So just see, a curse which is for dying, which is the most difficult, most worst problem of the life, he changed that into a biggest opportunity and biggest boon of the life, right? Because of that curse only, he understood everything, now what to do, and he went out and he met Sukdev Goswami, heard Bhagavatam, went home back to God. Here you see Maharaj Nimi, he got curse, and because of that curse he died, dead. But he took it as an opportunity. Okay, I don't want it. Now they are calling back, you come back, please live again. We will make you alive. We will bring you back to the life. But he's saying, no, I don't want to come into this material world. Why this, that? Right? So, understanding this, and then, because it is a good thing now. Somehow he died, but they are making you alive again. So come back and become king and enjoy. But he's not coming back. Right? He's not coming back. He's saying, I don't want to come. I don't want to get again into this death, birth, old age, disease, this material body. I want a spiritual body. So like that he changed this whole situation into a benediction. Okay. So then thereafter, to save the people from danger of an unregulated government. Anyway, he went, but for the citizens there should be a good government. So for that purpose, the sages churned Maharaj Nimi's material body, from which as a result a son was born. Something similar like Prathu Maharaj. Okay, to save the citizens, so in Prathu Maharaj's case what happened, that his father Maharaj Vena, he was not good king. So sages only killed him through mantras, through the power of mantras. And then they churned the body and Prathu Maharaj came. But here he got cursed, but he himself is not coming. He was a good king. They wanted him to back, but he is not coming because he wanted to live a spiritual life. So he is not coming. But so to maintain the kingdom, for a good kingdom, for a good king, they churned the body and then a son came. Okay, to save the citizen, the sages churned him his body and produced a son. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Arajak bhayam. Okay. So if the government is unsteady and unregulated, there is danger of fear for the people. At the present moment, because if government is not good, then citizens will be always afraid. That's what now you see, there is government, but still all people are afraid. Everybody has to put lock in their home, everybody has to protect their own thing. If we all have to protect, then what government is doing? Okay, so this is the thing. Everybody is afraid of death, everybody is afraid of disease, like that. At the present moment, this danger always exists because of government by the people. Now even people are not afraid of other thing. People are afraid of more than the thieves and rogues. People are afraid of government only. Okay, so if somebody nowadays situation is like, if suppose somebody disturbs you, or in your home some thief came and stole a lot of things. So people are, now whatever is gone, but now people are more afraid to go to police station, because problem is that thief already took something. Now if I go to police station, police wala also will take so much thing from me. So better not to go there. Okay. So people are more afraid of government than the thieves. Okay. At the present moment, this danger always exists because of government by the people. Here we can see that the great sages got a son from Nimi's material body to guide the citizens properly. For such guidance is the duty of a Kshatriya king. A Kshatriya is one who saves the citizens from being injured. In the so-called people's government, there is no trained Kshatriya king. Modern days, there is no Kshatriya. As soon as someone is strong, accumulates votes, he becomes the minister or president. Without training from the learned Brahmins, expert in the Shastras. So nobody is becoming king or president nowadays because they are trained by Shastras or by Brahmins. No. They just got the votes and they become president. Okay, so it's like that. They may not know anything about ruling, anything about the moral principle, nothing, but they will become the king, they will become the prime minister or president. Okay, but actually what is the scene? See, the actual thing is that the Brahmins who are following the Shastras properly, so they will train a king to become a good king. Okay, they will train a Kshatriya that you should become a king, and he will, because he is trained and he through the Shastras, so he will be a good king, like Chanakya did. So like that. Okay, so indeed we see that in some countries the government changes from party to party, and therefore the men in charge of the government are more eager to protect their position than to see that the citizens are happy. So Prabhupada is saying very practical thing, that the person or government is the people in the government, they are not more concerned about the citizens' comfort. They are only concerned about to save their position. Okay, so what happens now? Some problem happens, they change parties. Okay, because they merge 2-3 party merge to protect their position as a prime minister or someone. Right, so that means they are not at all concerning about citizens. Nobody concerns about citizens actually. Okay, only thing they concern is about their position. Okay, so that's why they have no moral codes. Whatever they want, they will do, and at the time of vote only they will come to you. They will take votes. They will become prime minister, president, and they will forget you. Right. So two parties who are against each other, and before election they will be so against. After election, sometimes happens that both parties will come together and form a government. Okay, then how they will do some good to citizens, nobody knows. Okay, so that's what this kind of system which is called democracy is not supported by Vedic wisdom. Democracy is not good as per Vedic culture. As per Vedic culture, monarchy is good. In monarchy, there will be a monarch, there will be a king, and king will be pakka, purely guided by a pure Brahmin or scriptures. That's why if you see in the life of kings, all the kings will have at least one guru who is guiding them. Some problem happens, he goes to the Brahmin guru and he asks what to do. So from the scriptures he will tell, see, this is the right thing to do. Okay, so Brahmin don't have physical power, he has the scriptural power, he gives the wisdom, and Kshatriya has that physical power, so he goes and applies that wisdom, implements. That is the idea. That's how this Varnashram is very beautiful thing. If you understand the scientific explanation or the value of Varnashram system, then you will know that Varnashram is the most beautiful arrangement for a society. Everyone can live very peacefully. Okay, Varnashram, yes, Varna, 4 Varnas, 4 Ashram, Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, and Brahmachari, Grahastha, Vanprastha, Sannyasi. Best thing. Every whole society can live very peacefully if it is implemented properly. The Vedic civilization prefers monarchy. People like the government of Lord Ramchandra, the government of Maharaj Yudhishthir, and government of Maharaj Parikshit, Maharaj Ambrish, and Maharaj Prahlad, the great kings. There are many instances of excellent government under a monarch. Gradually, the democratic government is becoming unfit for the needs of the people. And therefore, some parties are trying to elect a dictator. A dictatorship is the same as a monarchy. But without a trained leader, actually people will be see now the point. Some parties are trying to select a dictator, and then so Prabhupada is saying that dictatorship is the same as monarchy, but without a trained leader. So this dictator is almost same thing like monarch, like king. But what happened? King is trained. King is guided by Shastras, by Brahmins. But this dictator is not guided, they are not trained. So that can be problem. So this democratic governments are now, we can see it's not very good thing, and no, they are not. It cannot give. Actually, it is said it is for citizens. What is that called? From citizens, by citizen, for citizen, whatever it is. Okay, but it is nothing is for citizens actually in this. Only citizens' role is to give vote and make them PM or prime president or whatever, and then that's it. Okay. So actually people will be happy when a trained leader, whether a monarch or a dictator, takes control of the government. So whoever it is, but the leader should be trained from scriptures and he should follow Vedic scriptures, then citizens will be happy. And rules, and how he should rule the people according to the standard regulation of the authorized scriptures. He should rule as per the scriptures. Okay, he should not he should not rule the kingdom, the citizens as per his mind. Because mind is human mind, it will create a lot of problem. So a king should not think, in my mind this thought is coming, so let me implement this and let's see what happens. No, you have to see what Shastra says. Okay, that's why many leaders, what they do, they feel, I think this is good, just do it. After 2 years, they find, oh, this scheme was not good, okay, close. So, or maybe 3-4 people will discuss, but all are humans, right? All are having imperfect senses. So, no one can take that perfect decisions. So, perfect decision can be taken only when you are guided from Vedic scriptures, because Vedic scriptures are perfect, right? So that's how the monarchy is better than democracy, because in monarchy the king is guided by the wisdom of Vedic literature, scriptures. Okay. So nowadays it's so bad. Earlier, at least in the starting days, we used to hear that if some minister's department some problem happens, for example, some train accident happened, then the rail minister, he will resign. He will take the responsibility. Okay, I take the responsibility that in my department this problem happened, so I leave the position. Okay, but nowadays they don't do that. Nobody, because they knows that never who will get next chance to become minister. So be there. Okay, so like that. Okay, now. Okay, so now it's already the time. So 13th shloka we will do tomorrow. Okay, Hare Krishna. Okay, so 13th we will do tomorrow. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.